Hello everyone and welcome back to this episode of Bloom in Blood. I am your storyteller for tonight's chronicle, Ramos the Nomad, aka Gilbert Ramos, CEO and founder of Rolling Nomads, but that's not what you're here for. We know what you're here for. It hasn't been long for you guys. It's been like a month for us because we've had to wait. So we're real eager. So there's going to be some crazy energy. I'd ask for forgiveness, but I simply don't need it. Let's move over to the people you're actually here to see, our players. We'll begin to my top left, Friday. If you care to introduce yourself.
Yeah, today I'm Abby. I'm your local internet nerd. But tonight, I am Friday, your local questionable gargoyle, and our pronouns are she, her. My mom picked them out.
Hell yeah. Welcome back. It's such an absolute pleasure to see you again. Let's jump over to my top right, Kaida.
Gonna hit you with hammers.
Hello, everyone. It's Tharissa Rave. You can find me all over the internet as such. But this evening, I will be playing Kaida Arden, the Samitsi.
Absolutely wonderful. I love the change in makeup. I'm going to ask you to explain that to our audience because I think it's neat and I think that culture is very important. So, jumping over down to my top left, last but not least, Lola.
Hello, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias, except Twitter. Fuck that place. In this time zone, I will be playing Lola Torres, the Malkavian Primogen, who's having a great time. She's not.
We're doing so good. This is going to be fine. Absolute pleasure to have everyone back and assembled. The only downside is we are missing our Rose tonight. Remy, aka Aster, is still recovering from his trip. So we're going to give a little more time to rest and get some relaxation in. But while Aster is missed, Remy will be... we'll see what Remy's up to next week. I am sure it will be fine. So, we begin each session as we always do with a recap. Now, again, I don't believe I've picked anybody to do these yet. I think I've been pretty kind, so I'm going to continue to do that until I'm not. And I promise everyone will have adequate forewarning when I do choose to be cruel. What has happened to our kindred? Last session, we saw them with Remy and Friday taking a chance to meet with Patermuster at St. Basil's Hospital. The Bruja Primogen who had not shown up to the announcement of the new Primogen. As they approached, they had some brief conversation and quickly realized that they were kind of on the same page. That there was something fishy going on in the city, and the Montalvo was at the center of it all. Patermuster revealed that he had been gathering evidence since Prince Montalvo had asked him to help the exiles and the transient kindred of Phoenix to exit the city. He revealed that he had a board of newspaper articles and police reports and clippings from past events where the locations where he had holed these kindred up that were supposed to be safely escorted out of sight of the city had been, unfortunately, either raided by the Second Inquisition or the temporary havens had been burned. Now, Patermuster had pieced some things together and had posed the theory that Montalvo was using the Second Inquisition to kill kindred. He just wasn't entirely sure why. This, of course, is contradictory to the rumor that Montalvo is a secret member of the Sword of Cain or a secret spot. So there's a mystery to unravel in this regard. The three kindred, Friday, Remy, and Patermuster, affirmed their loyalty to one another and promised to share information as things came across. Meanwhile, while this was going on, Kaida and Lola went to Elysium to seek out the prince, as he had summoned Lola to discuss the fire at Studio 145. They met Che on the way in, which is not uncommon as he is the keeper of Elysium. But as he was exiting a conversation with Prince Montalvo, they had closed the doors behind them and revealed that there was also a fire at Mesa. Lola revealed that she believed that demontation was used at the fire at Studio 145, to which Prince Montalvo urged her to find the assailant or the arsonist. They also posed that there could be more going on in Mesa than originally thought. As Kaida revealed that a Book of Nod was discovered in Mesa, this enraged Prince Montalvo, who demanded that they stay out of Mesa. The two incidents were not connected in whatsoever, and that he would deal with the Sabbat, since his prince and those he had granted, or since his sheriff and the ones he had granted the right of destruction had failed him. During this conversation, they noticed that the prince was on edge, clearly. As he was beginning to collect himself, his phone had rang, and you saw the chime and chirp as well as the flashing light, and he had silenced it as he dismissed you all, bidding Lola to find who the arsonist was that burned down Studio 145 and to bring it to either him or his sheriff, preferably him, so he might dole out justice. As the two left, they noticed, or rather Lola noticed, using Sense the Unseen, that Che was standing in the corner of the room, obfuscated, watching all of this outburst happen. Ida warned the prince that Che was in the room, and as they departed, the Coterie came together once more to share information and to sort of switch up their partnerships, as Kaida and Friday were heading to Chandler to speak with Amira before she left the previous body of the King Primogen. Lola and Remy were going to remain at the Hesperus Club, or at the Hesperus Art Studio, and wait for Elena to come visit them so they might have a discussion about the goings on of the city. As Friday and Kaida arrived in Chandler, conversations quickly turned south, as Amira revealed that she would lift no finger in regards to their investigation of Prince Montalvo, and as she intentionally or unintentionally revealed that she knew Kaida's sire long ago. Kaida, suffering a fit of rage, drank deeply from Amira, diablerizing the kindred and ending her life, finally. This revealed some information to Kaida that she did indeed. Amira did know Kaida's sire, the one who had kept her captive and tortured for a number of years. In addition, truth was revealed about Amira's meeting with the prince, where he had revealed that the Camarilla would take Phoenix when he arrived. He revealed this to Amira and Silvio, the barons at the time. He revealed that the Camarilla would take the city, with or without his help. If they offered him allegiance, it would be a smoother transition. If not, they would use the Second Inquisition and purge the city and start new. Silvio died at the prince's hand as he attacked him. Amira stayed silent, lifted no finger, and offered no assistance. Bound by her oath to silence in her honor, she retreated. And this is where she stayed as the prince overtook the city. As he gained power, she bent the knee, and she said nothing. As her clan exited, urging her to speak up, claiming her that her honor was false, they left her. And as she could take no more, she retreated to Chandler. And this is where we found her now. This is where her life ended, as Kaida learned the truth from drinking deeply of her blood. Meanwhile, while this was happening, this diablerie had occurred, Lola and Remy spoke with Elena, who unknowingly had corroborated this story. The question of Elena's loyalty and why she would bend the knee to the prince when he had first arrived had always been on the minds of the kindred of Phoenix. It was revealed to Lola and Remy that he had promised, Prince Montalvo had promised, that she would see Luis again if she bent the knee, insinuating that he had some sort of sway or some sort of means to retrieve Luis Duarte from an SI holding facility where he was still being kept alive. And that is where we had ended our session, dear viewers. That's not where we pick up. Not exactly. Now, there had been 10 days of downtime between then and where we will pick up tonight. So we're going to go walk through a little bit of these events, the key moments that have occurred, beginning with that night that we had left. I'm curious to see, as Kaida and Friday depart Amira's domain, what occurs, if there's any conversation. Friday, you've just witnessed that you tried to stop Kaida, to no avail. So let's pick up not just in the car ride. Let's go from the immediate revelations and repercussions of that. Friday, you've just seen Kaida drink so deeply that she's killed and taken in someone's soul. Kaida, you are still reeling. The scene belongs to both of you. Turn it over to you.
Friday knows what diablerie is. She knows that the usurpers used it to join the ranks of kindred and birthed her clan from their foul incantations and blood magics. To see someone who has been like a sire to her commit that act, it's enough to send every hair, every misaligned piece of flesh on her body into panic mode. She's going to skin of the chameleon and vanish. Just for a moment. Just to see if it's still Kaida in there. But she chooses flight.
The last thing Kaida said was that she removed another Eve from her garden. And she is there, her nails extremely long, fangs distended, blood dripping down her chin and onto her neck. And she doesn't need to breathe, but she is breathing through her teeth clenched tight, bits of saliva and blood falling from her. She doesn't take notice right away that Friday has disappeared. Her eyes are moving rapidly around the house. And so I will ask Storyteller, what would have seemed like the most prized possession of Amiris in this home?
In the immediate vicinity?
In this living room space that we're in.
There is a simple bracelet that is placed on a table, a small table. Doesn't look like an altar, doesn't look like a offering or anything like that, but it's placed with reverence. When people take bracelets off, most of the time, especially, there's an argument to be made depending on how your circumstances are. You could cast a gold chain off the table and just let it crinkle, let it fall. When you truly love and care about something, when something has sentimental value, you set it on the table. When you are obsessively loving something, you lay it flat, you smooth it out, and this little fabric and bead bracelet is flattened, smoothed out, placed in the center of the table. Different colors pop out. There's no set, really, design.
Ida rolls her neck over her shoulders, her eyes locking onto the bracelet. She walks over and grabs it and puts it on. And then grabs the nearest cloth, whether it's what this bracelet was on or something hanging from the walls, and wipes the blood from her face and tosses it like it's garbage.
You do this.
She clears her throat and then rights herself and looks more like herself than previous.
I think it'll be that movement that does incite Friday to break obfuscation. Just pop out. Kaida?
Yes, darling.
It is Kaida I'm speaking with, right? Are you...
Yes, sweet thing. Ay, querida, that must have been so scary for you. I am sorry. I lost my temper. We should go. Much to discuss.
Freddy's big ol' lighthouse eyes are just going to flick to the remains. Kaida. Back to the remains. Nod.
I'll drive. We should go. Yeah, now would be good. Yes.
As she follows Friday out, when we had first gotten there, Kaida had put some of her blood and used one of her abilities on one of the plants that were outside. And I think there's just a sort of telepathic thing that happens between her and this plant. And she simply says, "Guard the house," and then follows into the car.
Is there anything the two of you do about the remains?
Kaida sweeps it all up. I imagine there's like a dustpan and broom in this house, so she sweeps it all up, and she goes out to the plants and just starts sprinkling it on the plants. So Amira is now fertilizer.
Friday is just sitting in the car. She would be white knuckling if she could, but she's just watching all this with, oh my god, what have I got myself into?
You do this, and you begin to drive. Now, I have to ask as well, is there any conversation as you drive away from this place? Do you discuss what just happened?
It comes, but it's very slow. I think it's definitely the length of at least 2 Adele songs, of a couple of pop 40s before Friday just reaches over, turns down the music, keeping one eye on the road as she peers at Kaida at the side of her eyes.
So what are we gonna do about this?
Oh, well, there's nothing to do about Amira. She is gone. But I've learned something. She knew Friday. She knew about all of it. She did not. You recall when the Camarilla took over. Apparently, the prince met with the barons, told them all to bend the knee because the Camarilla would be taking over. But with or without his help, it would be happening. We have been curious to know where he got enough strength to bully these barons into bending the knee. It turns out he used the SI.
Hey, storyteller, can I make a driving check? Because I think that information would be reeling.
I think that it would be as well. Dexterity and drive, wits and drive, whatever you might have an argument for, and drive.
We're going Dex. Pure instinct here. 5 successes, though, so I don't swerve into traffic. I think there's definitely a little moment as Friday hears that Prince Montavo used the SI to clear Phoenix for his own rule. Just that shift in the HV lane.
The Second Inquisition. Not some unknown Sabbat hand. Not like the Second Inquisition. He actually used the Second Inquisition. The Prince.
Yes.
Prince Montavo.
Yes, use the SI to gather up those who would be in his way. I imagine they are still there. Amira was with Silvio, the one of the barons, Catif. Said the same speech that he gave all the other Primogen. Of course, Silvio did not take this well and decided to attack the prince, so the prince killed him. And Amira said nothing.
Friday takes that news. Drive goes out a little longer. I don't think it's till they get off the I-10 and begin to turn back into Remy's neighborhood that Friday finally speaks.
He's not acting like a prince should.
No.
Storybook or real life.
No. My question now is why? Why align himself with the SI?
Survival. Power. Pure ego. I don't
Survival
know.
is not his issue. He has been around for a long, long time, right?
That's gonna set her hairs on edge.
She gives almost a little chuckle, but there's no humor in it. It's cold. And then she says, Amira was prone to silence. She knew my sire and knew when he had me. 100 years in that cave. Left to his hands, she did nothing. No, it is good Amira is gone. She would not have been an ally to us or anyone. Her own clan abandoned her for her so-called honor. Do not feel guilty for her passing. Sometimes you must prune the garden to remove the rot. That is all I did.
At a reflex, Friday is going to swallow her own gathering saliva. And she's going to just nod. But the rest of the car ride back is silent. She's going to curl up in her little room given to her by Remy and spend the rest of the night like that. Stone silent.
I would like to make the note that at no point does Kaida ask for Friday to remain silent about what she's done. She doesn't tell her keep it a secret. She just lets it lie where it is.
Indeed. And as I believe we had discussed last session, day is coming quickly. Kaida, don't believe you'll have time to make it back to your mountain. You may, of course, ask Friday to remain at the Renaissance if you so choose.
Yes, I think she does. She does ask if she can stay just for the night. Or rather, just
Pulling
for the day.
in. Absolutely. Like, I think they're pulling into Remy's. You bring up the question, Friday.
Yeah, of course, it's probably better not to be alone right now. Good call. If you need... Never mind, that was a stupid question.
You're fine.
We're fine.
And she's going to just hit the gas, head into the
Yeah.
Renaissance.
When we get to the Renaissance, the last thing that Kaida does is simply put a gentle hand on Friday's face. And she makes a vow to her and says, no matter what happens in this city, we will survive and we will thrive. Have no doubts of where my loyalty lies, Friday. And she'll give her a little kiss on the forehead before they depart from each other.
That's my mom.
And the night passes. Now, we won't go through every night of this 10-day bit of downtime, this 10-day interim period. But there are a couple notable things that do occur that do need highlighting. Firstly, I have to ask three of you. Do you share information, what you learned that night, with your coterie?
Yes. Kaida does share with the coterie what she has learned. She doesn't say how she learned this information, and not in a way of she's keeping a secret. I think Friday especially would see it more as almost as if she's like forgotten how she acquired that information. Like it's just what happened was so irrelevant to her that it's gone from her mind, and she just shares the information itself, and gives the warning of be careful when dealing with the prince.
Understood. Lola, do you pass the log information about Elena to your companions?
Yes. Lola will let them know that any suspicions about Elena's allegiance and whether or not she was under duress are essentially confirmed. So Elena could be considered an ally insofar as, well, now we know her secret, so either she's with us or she'll continue to be cowed.
Understood. My last question, at least for this regard, is Friday. Do you tell? Do you let your coterie members know, in any capacity, what Kaida did?
Yes. Friday, before she curls up in a catatonic state and goes over the fact that her unlife has irreparably changed and it is no longer in her control, nor will it ever be. All she tells is just keep an eye on Kaida.
Make sure that she's still Kaida.
It's ominous enough to raise eyebrows, but she means that.
Understood. The next thing that happens that is of note is, as we had last seen during last session, Friday, you had arranged for a meeting with Che, who had called you regarding asking where you were and if you were safe. That meeting, I believe, was set for the night previous, so the upcoming night, this night. Do you stand him up, or are you going to welcome him into the Renaissance?
Are Lola and Kaida staying at the Renaissance at this time? I think once her guests clear out, Friday will have the cafe set aside for the two of them to chat.
We'll run through that scene very quickly here. Friday, you clear out the cafe, making sure that the staff is aware that this is a private event. In addition, tonight, Friday, as you check in on all the things that you do normally in your evening rise, a notification appears on your phone that you have received a paycheck from the corporation, from Marriott Corporation.
Knowing what the prince is capable of, knowing what he has done, that money feels disgusting. She swats that notification away like a fly and just sits at her little coffee table, a steaming cup of cocoa, untouched. She waits to hear whatever Che might know about her.
And as a note, it is not an insignificant amount of money. You are not being paid as a concierge or a bellboy. You are paid as upper management. You are paid as an owner. So, dirty the money may be, Friday, it appears that you have a source of income now. Please add a dot of resources.
Storyteller, that's two. I don't like how many strings the prince has on me.
So, as you wait, it doesn't take too long. He appears before you now. He doesn't look as he usually looks when he's unmasked. He appears to you masked. He approaches and he looks as if he's one of your staff. The only thing that shines through is that he has a simple flower attached to his uniform, the black suit of the Renaissance that the security personnel might wear. It is a red zinnia, the same as the bouquet that he holds in his right hand.
Oh my gosh. Friday definitely has that little panic mode of, oh my god, this is a date. I should have listened to Kaida. This is a date. How do I tell him politely that this is not a date? But
I hope you didn't have too much trouble coming in. Those are lovely flowers. Who are they for?
I hope that they might adorn our table, if it troubles you.
Not at all.
A moment, and she's going to practically crawl over the counter for the little cafe service table, get a paper cup, plop it down.
He sort of takes what looks like just a simple fold-out pocket knife and cuts the ends, and sort of does his best to arrange a bouquet in the center. And as he does this, he speaks and says, kind of glancing around, "You've cordoned off the area. You've made sure that it's
Absolutely.
safe."
Absolutely. They know that this is an exclusive and executive event. I use some pretty big language there, so I don't think anyone's going to be bothering us tonight. Besides, most of the staff has the weekend off.
Perfect. Then do you mind if I unmask?
Of course.
He reaches up, and as he does, the visage fades. And you see him in that pinstripe suit, the glowing pinprick eyes peeking out from the shadow of this hat. He reaches the top of his head. He removes it. And for the first time, Friday, you see what is hidden underneath his head, or underneath the hat. In the top of his head is strands, remnants of hair, long hair, tucked inside the hat. It used to be a long braid, something that was likely cared for, cleaned, and well maintained. Due to his nature, has diminished to half-dead strands, crinkled black threads. They unfurl and fall behind his back. Thank you.
Since this place has come over my management, really, there's no need to thank me. Do you know when the prince gave me this place, it was the first time I talked to someone outside of my flock? In like, I think 13 years now?
Quite the gift for a first meeting.
It was. And if I'm going to rule this place, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm dead. Please, be yourself.
And Friday will also remove her layers. Show off her little stone-carved face, her big blinking frog's eyes, her long hair that droops onto the floor like oil leaking out of a faucet.
And he takes you in. And Friday, you can feel something drop. You can feel something fall away. As he looks at you and says, "You have lovely hair, Friday's child."
Use my full name. She's just going to...
Oh, I think it must have been pretty important to me when I was alive. Thank you. You're very kind. Your hair is lovely too.
He kind of looks down at the flowers. It used to be.
It still is. It looks luminous, healthy.
Let's not pretend.
Survived a lot.
Friday. We
But I'm
are
not pretending.
seated at this cafe. We are two monsters. I am just more desecrated.
Oof. Friday's optimism, I think, is just sucked out in the room in a minute. Jay's calling himself a monster. Friday's genuine compliment sucked out. You're still a monster. She shrinks back. Nods.
But I didn't
Yeah,
come.
Oh no, just...
yeah.
I didn't come to be discouraging. I wanted to congratulate you on your found family, your chosen coterie.
Friday. Her little eyebrows just pop up for a moment. Oh yeah, we did that at Elysium. Obviously just having flashbacks of Kaida covered in blood, ripping apart this kindred.
Thank you. It's pretty important to my kind to have someone around. I think I was gonna go crazy in the walls all by myself. I'm lucky.
You are. And I'm glad for it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I wanted, if we are being ourselves, and he really hesitates, Friday. He's chewing on this. He's thought this through. And he's fighting everything within himself, everything he's learned as Kindred, everything he's learned as Nosferatu, to be honest. I wanted just to speak with you.
We're talking now. You can speak as freely as you want here. Believe it or not, I'm not nearly as tied to the prince as you might think I am.
I don't care about the prince. I don't care about the politics. I just wanted to speak with you. We can talk about whatever you like. We can discuss your coterie. We can discuss we can discuss your flock. We can discuss, if you wish, your history. Whatever you'd like. I just would like to talk to you.
It takes Friday a second. She's, expecting to be railed with questions, to be like, well, where were you at this time? What were you doing here? Everything she's learned so far in a Camarilla domain is questions and conversations always come with some hidden consequence. There's something so genuine about this.
And
Almost in a very similar vein to Kaida, she takes one of the flowers, twirls at her claws, taking care not to really look at her hands and more so the bloom.
wish I could tell you about my history, but all I know so far is that I really liked fry bread on a Saturday morning. For all this.
He smiles. It's the first time we've seen him really smile. And yes, he's a monster. He looks the part. The teeth are thin, long. But the way his cheeks curl, and the sort of, you can see the fall of where the cheekbones are, and the little dimple that doesn't match his left side. You don't know if anyone has seen that. He nods, he doesn't interrupt. On the off chance that you might have more to say, he doesn't want to lose it.
I mean, you've probably heard stories about the Falconer. I mean, that whole tizzy with the barons of Los Angeles, that didn't exactly go over well, but really, she was a wonderful person. I haven't seen her since, well, the raid, but all of us, it was It's something that Kindred and the Coterie are missing, I think. Closeness.
Community, closeness. It's all very lacking. Not just in the Camarilla, but everywhere. When you live so long, when you have forever to forget. And it was an interest of mine for a time to study the evolutionary traits of animals. We aren't meant to remember forever. We will forget things. The human mind has a limited capacity, and upon the terabytes upon terabytes of information that we can keep, it will fall away little by little. Did you know that when you remember something, each time you remember it, you're not really remembering the initial memory? This conversation, for example, when you look back on it, you'll remember this conversation the first time, and you'll remember it more clearly. But then if you remember it again, you won't remember the conversation, you'll remember the memory, the last memory you had of the conversation, and so on and so on and so on. And as it goes on, it becomes more muddied. You fill in details, you extract others. Eventually, given enough time, these flowers will be roses. This cafe, a bakery. The Nosferatu. Just a man.
Maybe it's a blessing that I lost my memory when I was changed. Everything's fresh, a new slate. I don't have the burdens before. But I think memories in themselves are important.
I'm inclined to
Because
agree.
I think we're wrong in one regard. Sure, I'll probably misremember these as roses, or that there was a cafe. But I'm going to remember the man I saw here. I refuse to believe in anything else. Maybe I wasn't raised with all these Camarilla standards. I wasn't given the proper introductions, taught the curtsies, the bows, the etiquette. But I know people. And you're one of them.
He doesn't say anything. He kind of absent-mindedly picks at the flower in his breast pocket. The same zinnia that now sits on the table. He just kind of strokes one of the leaves. And the two of you in this conversation, Friday, just talk. And you can talk about whatever you would like. So I'll ask you, he doesn't push a conversation. He doesn't push an agenda. There's no exchange of boons or offer of quid pro quo. He'll pursue whatever line of conversation you like. What do you talk about?
If it weren't for the fact that it was a twisted, malformed Nosferatu and a winged monstrosity talking, you would think that this was parent and child, an uncle and niece, talking about how college has been, how things been catching up. Friday, she talks about her time with her flock. How Christmas morning, one time, they got stuck in a water tank and they weren't able to fly for weeks because it soaked into their very skin and they could float. Or how Wednesday was always the moodiest out of all of the childer. But she found an accordion one night and they tried to start up a band until a bunch of hikers found them and they had to obfuscate into the redwoods where the falconer how she promised that they would never, ever be alone again, and that they were ready to be themselves, whoever that might be, when she had first opened her eyes again. It's more reminiscing to herself than anything, but if Jay listens, there's a lot of love in there.
He does. As two of you talk, you can see he becomes more comfortable. He doesn't interrupt. He listens. And when it is sort of his turn to speak, as the conversational rules take play, he shares. He makes parallels with your stories. When you talk about trying to start a band, he talks about being able to play music. Him and his... What really makes him hesitate is when the topic of family comes up. He really hesitates to bring up his brothers. But he talks about the music that they would play. The things that they would make together. And the way he talks about making things, Friday, it's not with plastic and metal. It's not with rubber. It's an older sort of creation. What you give him is a story. What he gives you is history. I would like you to roll wits and insight.
Three successes.
It's faint. The insight isn't into him, Friday, it's into you. When he talks, he lets little things, little bits of culture slip in. And you find yourself remembering names. Now, I asked you not too long ago, you remembered who Sonny was. I think that you begin to remember again. A time that wasn't the flock, it wasn't just the flock that tried to start a band. There was music when you were a child. What do you remember, Friday?
School had just let out. It was Thanksgiving break, which the tribal offices did observe, but it was a whole thing. It was really more of a day to listen to Grandma and Grandpa talk about things. And Sonny, he wanted to take me out to the dump, and he said we could make drums like that. I remember he yelled at me because I stopped to pet a bunch of dogs, and he said that they have lice or bugs and ringworm, and then he teased me, and I fell into the mud, and we cried. And then when he came home, all the family was there, and everyone could just laugh because we were covered head to foot in mud. Of course, Mom wasn't happy about it, but later that night we got to play the shoe game together, and we sang, and there were stories. And I remember just as the sun began to set, someone carried me back out of the car, back from ceremony grounds, into the house. And I remembered seeing Sonny excitedly explaining to one of our other cousins how we were going to start a band and we were going to get off this reservation.
And unbeknownst to you, these memories, you begin to remember, and as you have this conversation, you speak with Che. Both of you slip out of English. You don't notice it. And if anyone was to listen, they would know you don't speak English here. And this is how it goes. It's all he wanted was a conversation. Eventually he leaves. He asks if he can return again.
Of course he can, and Freddie thanks him for coming. She really needed that talk, and it reminded her of things, and If he can, could he find a place that sells authentic mutton stew and fry bread and maybe bring it next time?
There is no place here in Phoenix that will have what you want. There's no kitchen. No kitchen that will give you what you're looking for, Friday's child. None but mine. If you'd allow me access to your kitchen on next my arrival.
I'll see to it that the chefs get a catering opportunity. Just let me know what dates work.
He nods. And he rolls up the braid, this matted, twisted thing, and tucks it beneath the hat once more. And you see the change, Friday, and it pulls at your heart for whatever reason. Smile is gone. The hat goes on, and so does the mask. Gone is the man you were speaking with. Leaving the Renaissance is Jay, the Nosferatu Keeper of Elysium. And he leaves. This is the first night of this 10-day interim. This is the first notable event that takes place. But it is not all tears and memories. It is not all happiness. During this time period, St. Basil's Hospital burns, and Paternoster is missing. You all hear about this. You all are aware. The sheriff goes to check on the Primogen and to take stock of any casualties. The news reports that something happened with the old wing of the hospital. Friday, you know the wing. It's where Paternoster kept his board. An older, closed off, under construction portion. Go. And it is unfortunate, to say the very least. The next night, however, Paternoster emerges at your doorstep Friday, seeking refuge at the Renaissance. Do you grant it?
Friday, from the news of that fire, had been stewing in a mixture of grief and anger and complete and utter terror. The moment that Paternoster arrives, it is like a light has been shown. He is welcomed in, he is given everything he needs. Admittedly in one of the storage rooms in the back, an unused conference room. Best not to have guests on record that the prince can check. But Friday will apologize for the dust.
He has no complaints. He asks to remain hidden until he knows for certain that he can make an appearance again without being attacked. He wouldn't want to bring anything to your hotel. He also explains that he would have gone to Remy, but Remy is already too close. They're already looking into Studio 145. They're already looking into his holdings. The prince and the police, whatever other organizations, are swarming. The next interesting thing that happens is a meeting with Nathaniel, Lola. Now, you made your way during this 10-day period. You made a point to take Friday with you to lurk in the shadows. You made your way to a storage unit in Goodyear. You were buzzed in. You were shown a dingy operation. Monitors across one storage unit wall. Wires everywhere on the floor. Cables running across. Hardly the revolution that you were given, that you were told about. Unimpressed, though, you met with Nathaniel and his new companion, Julian Sim. You learn that Julian is Banu Hakim, and he is just a visitor to the city, and he seems very well connected. Now, Friday, you had lurked, you had watched Julian make some phone calls. Friday, I hate to keep picking on you, but I'm going to ask you real quick. If you'd like to share what you witnessed while he was on the phone.
As reluctant as Friday was to leave Lola behind, especially with a man as volatile as Nathaniel, the way that Julian was talking and stalking around was far too suspicious not to look into. And what I overheard was terrifying. The prince might be working with the SI, but they were... Julian's friend is in Mesa, and the prince doesn't want anyone there. But there's talks of faith, and... God, you had to have seen me. They want a book. The book. If I'm guessing, it's the book that probably the prince thinks that he's burning out of here, but it's the book. They're following me. He's definitely following me. He's following me. He's following me. I need to get out of here. I need to get back to Lola. I'm just going back to the car.
And while Friday makes these revelations about a friend in Mesa asking for their book back, Lola, you spoke with Nathaniel. How do you think that meeting went? Now, you and I have played it out. What's your take on it? Would you like to share what you've discovered?
Lola, after Nathaniel had essentially said that he's done the work and he's willing to fess up to the prince about what he did, even if it means final death, if only it would ease Lola's burden. And he's done the work on himself and taken the time to self-reflect. Lola falls back into old patterns, becoming overwhelmed with conflicting emotions of guilt and shame and anger and an old spark that she thought should have died a long time ago. And she leaves. Cuts the conversation short, having learned honestly nothing relevant to the greater task at hand. Because she cannot be in this situation. She can't allow herself to fall back into the trap. So the conversation went pretty poorly for her. And I think despite it all, despite everything, despite Julian and the screens on the wall that were recording in real time around the city, or at least around Goodyear, she cannot help but ruminate on the I love you she overheard from that feminine voice on the phone as she walked in.
Indeed. You had arrived at Nathaniel's little operation in order to garner, one, how deep his revolution went, and two, to let him know that the prince wants his head. Not necessarily his, but he wants the individual responsible for the burning of Studio 145. Now, Lola, you have a choice to make. as you say, Nathaniel has offered to fall on his sword, as it was, and to alleviate your burden, go to the prince himself, if it would just make you happy. Or you can continue to go to this storage unit, continue to work with him and Julian until he can convince his other friends that you are on the up and up and that you are to be trusted, so that you can see the real operation, the actual center of his hub. So you have a choice to make, Lola. Do you bring him to the prince? Do you let them know about the storage unit? Or do you work with Nathaniel for long enough to gain access to more?
After the night, the first night she met with him and saw the storage unit for the first time, she doesn't really tell Friday much of anything, just that it was a waste of time. And she ruminates for the next few nights, deciding two things after sleeping on it. One, after what happened at St. Basil's, she needs to come up with something for the prince, so she wants to call a meeting with fellow Primogen to figure out if these fires are connected, and to gauge their feelings towards the prince's rule as subtly as she can.
Understood.
Secondly, she is going to return to the storage unit and see what more she could learn. And she tells herself, well, the enemy of my enemy. And she tells herself, well, if he can use people, why can't I?
What I will say here for you, Lola, is that during this time, Friday, the first meeting that you went to with the storage unit, suffered a compulsion, a paranoia. And so reaching out again two nights after, Friday is remaining hidden in the safety of the Renaissance. You have to go alone, which, however you feel about it, is just the truth of the matter. So you go. You work with Nathaniel and Julian, and you gain a little more information. The monitors, the cameras, are set up, some in downtown Phoenix. Most of them are in Goodyear. Most of them are near the Air Force Base, as close as they can get without the military having an issue with it. Every once in a while, Julian will deign to fly as quiet as possible, a drone over their fence line and take pictures of areas. Now you know that last we saw you speak to Nathaniel, that they had found something being kept by the Second Inquisition that was of incredible interest to Prince Montalvo. This is where they think it's being kept. They want to monitor, they want to see if there's any weakness, if they can get in, or if they're going to move it anytime soon. And you watch. The cameras show frequent businesses. One truth about military bases is that the businesses surrounding them thrive off of the economy that those soldiers, airmen, sailors bring in, and they attract a certain business at the bases. You have a lot of tattoo parlors, a lot of strip clubs, a lot of bars. So this is the businesses that the monitors entail. And Julian goes out and gathers information, as does Nathaniel, and you find yourself being sort of conscripted to show loyalty, just to ask questions, just to see if you might talk to somebody, if you might shake hands and have a drink with an airman every once in a while, to gather information. How do you think you might go about this, Lola? This will help determine what role you make in order to gather information for Nathaniel and Julian.
Well, first things first, she's very resistant to doing this. She never agreed to take an active role in their operation. She's here as a show of good faith. But in order to be able to continue doing this so that she can learn as much information as possible, she acquiesces. Can I ask Kaida to come with me and be my wingman, essentially?
Absolutely. Gotta do acquiesce.
Always.
I think we'll go to one of these surrounding strip clubs and find someone loose enough with a loose enough tongue.
I'm going to pick on a specific MOS or a specific AFSC here. You find a number of security forces and crew chiefs. And I can do that because I was a crew chief, so I know your kind, you sick fucks. You find a group of crew chiefs and a group blending with a mix of security forces. Side note, a blend that doesn't really happen very often because they fucking fight each other a lot.
Yes, they do.
But in the strip club, everyone's fam.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that in. These are the people you find. You have the opportunity to speak with the security forces, who deals with checkpoints and security all around the base, as well as the crew chiefs who work on aircraft, who deal with regular day-to-day aircraft maintenance, as well as sometimes flying with the certain cargo aircraft that come in and out. Primarily, this is fine. Primarily, Luke Air Force Base is an Air Force base, I believe, with fighter jets. Doesn't really deal with cargo aircraft. So the internals of what that means is that any cargo crew chiefs are what's called FCCs, flying crew chiefs, that have flown in with the plane to make sure that it maintains, that it can fly again and continue to do its rounds. So these people are not from the city and are dealing with like sort of, I guess you can really call it import of like why they're here. Either on a training mission, dropping stuff off, picking stuff up, so on and so forth.
I think I know you'd expect me to you'd probably expect me to speak with the security personnel first, but I think I want to speak with the other group because if they're here on training or if they're bored or whatever, they may be more inclined to share things they overhear or weird things they may have seen.
Understood. I would just need to know how you and Kaida go about this.
Well, Kaida works at a club where performances are done, and so I think she gives two things. One, she gives Lola the knowledge of a performer, gives her that like these are people who they're working crazy hours. Usually they're on call when they're not working. The stress level that they deal with, that speaks nothing to like rank and things like that. They're just under a lot of duress. So when they come to these places, they both want to be seen as just a person that's here to have a good time, but also want the like respect that they are an active member of the military, right? And so to really play on that, they like to be worshipped. And so with that knowledge given to her, she will also go to whomever owns this club and say that she's a visiting dancer. She's not going to be around for long, but she'd like to work for a few nights if that's all right. And essentially, in doing so, becomes available for private dances. And so anybody that Lola's like, I want to talk to that one, Kaida works her magic and gets them into a private room so that Lola can have those conversations.
Understood. Easily done. And after a few drinks, one of the fun things about I'll give the defenders credit as where it's due. They don't do this. Crew chiefs do this because they're awful people. Essentially, defenders are very proud to be. Security forces are very proud to be security forces, and there's a pride in that. So they don't really like fall into any like falsehoods of like, yeah, I'm basically a pilot. That's a crew chief thing. That's an other MOS thing. So you get these people together, and they, after a few drinks, you kind of get the vibe of crew from the crew chiefs and the load masters. We're not going to call them slang.
No.
You get crew chiefs and load masters that are kind of like, yeah, I'm basically a pilot. I sit up in the cockpit every once in a while.
Thank you for your service.
It's called a flight deck on a cargo aircraft. But these people don't fucking care. I'm just trashing these motherfuckers. I'm sorry.
Your trauma is becoming apparent.
It's all good.
I love military violence. Let's go.
So yeah, you get the kind of people that are like, I'm basically a pilot, and they talk to you very freely. So I would like you both to roll me. I'm gonna give you a choice of either manipulation or charisma, and either persuasion or insight, and you let me know what you decide to roll.
Could I... Hey, storyteller.
I gave you a choice of 2 attributes and 2 skills, and you're like, I don't like those.
Well, what if I did subterfuge?
I like
and
subterfuge.
I'm playing on Ingenue, where I'm just so eager to learn. I'm so interested in them. I clearly have no other ulterior motives.
Yeah, by all means.
I would like to ask if I can add my beautiful merit.
Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. These people are drunk service members.
That gives me a +1, or it gives me the amount of dots I have in it?
Beautiful gives you a +1.
Okay. And are we at 1 hunger or no hunger?
In this, I'm gonna say 1 hunger, as this is kind of taking place over the 10 nights.
Okay, wonderful. It's 6 on a crit from Kaida.
Willpower reroll? That sucked. Oh, that's okay, I critted. 4 on a crit.
Excellent. You're both able to gather information, and what you understand is that there is a basic security is pretty standard. It's not like there's nothing on base that they would know about that is causing for increased security. For security purposes, kind of what you gather, I'm sorry, I'm kind of just assuming you're like preying on the security forces into people.
And I am.
What you gather is that when they have deliveries and things that need to be made that is not top secret, but like kind of secret and real hush and quiet, they don't do like a caravan of cars and security forces personnel. They travel out in regular vehicles, Toyota Corollas and Toyota Camrys, things like that. And they keep it inconspicuous. There seems to be some sort of like contract or whatever with Toyota that like those are the cars you look out for. Camrys and Corollas of black and gray coloration is what they use, and they make sure to not have the they have typical Arizona plates, not the like the work or like company car plates on them. Yeah, that's kind of what
deep
you gather.
undercover.
Yeah, but
Mhm. Well, so I was just going to ask, and maybe this is something only I know about, but so security forces. There's the security forces that guard the actual base, and then there is something called the Ravens, and essentially they are security forces for the planes. And so, am I speaking to regular base security forces, or am I speaking to Ravens?
a blend of the two. I would say that the Ravens are. I would hope to God they're a little more tight-lipped, but
Well,
with your role and the fact that you have the beautiful merit,
Mhm.
Ravens, the Ravens, no matter how cool their fucking name,
They're just guys. They're just
you're
dudes.
just dudes. Fucking relax. So yeah, you get that as well.
Yeah.
So security forces on the flight line.
Okay.
Doesn't really have a whole lot to do unless there's like a breach in the line itself. They kind of just go around and give people. There's a badge that people have to wear that shows like who they are, that they're allowed on the flight line. It's a flight line badge, and if you're not wearing it, they'll stop you and go, "Hey, where's your badge?" And they'll fucking give you a ticket and be real shitty about it. And if they're real shitty about it, they want to apprehend you and be fucking stupid about it. Yeah, so you learn about these badges and how
This
fucking
feels like a security. This feels like a thing that you have experienced. This feels very personal.
what it takes to kind of get on base and up to close to them personal with the cargo aircraft. And the fun fact about, at the very least, like a C-130, the small cargo aircraft, is that there's not really like a lock. They literally just throw a padlock on that bitch, which as Kindred means nothing to you.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah, so it's, as far as security goes, if you have a badge and you have a all the necessary credentials to get on base, no one's going to, and everyone likes to think that this is so bad.
Don't get in trouble now.
Oh yeah, everyone likes to think that the military bases are very like tight on security. If you have a badge, you can get on, and once you're on base, you can kind of just drive places, whatever building you need to. Getting on the flight line is a little more of a security issue. But again, if you have a badge, if you're in uniform, no one's really going to question it until the Ravens show up and ask for your flight line badge. In which case, you can produce one and then fucking be about your day. A lot of time they won't even come up and ask you. You just if you carry a toolbox on there, they'll assume you're a crew chief, because they're fucking stupid.
Wonderful. I will, of course, give all this information to Lola.
For Lola, as you talk to the crew chiefs, you kind of gather the same thing. However, they deal with day-to-day maintenance. They also deal with incoming maintenance, and they deal with marshaling the aircraft onto its spot, making sure that the appropriate fuel trucks, power supply units, so on and so forth, are at the spot that the plane is going to park at, essentially. So any plane that comes onto the base, depending on what section of the flight line it is, has a unit that tends to it, basically. You gather from these crew chiefs that there has been an interesting number of cargo aircraft making their way, doing training. At least that's the words that they use. They're doing training. A big delivery is scheduled for a couple days from now, and that as far as crew chiefs go, they just don't want to deal with another plane coming in, because that means they have to work. But it's not. That's about as much as they give you in that regard of what that delivery is. It's in a couple days. Once it's on the flight line, they don't really touch it, because these are fighter aircraft crew chiefs. It's a cargo plane. They don't know what they're doing. But it'll sit on the runway, or it'll sit on the flight line for a while, and after it offloads its cargo, it's held in a warehouse, essentially, until it goes to where it needs to go.
May I say something to Lola? during one of these nights that we're out here doing this, Kaida will go to Lola and she will say, "Ghoul, one of them."
Oh. Okay. So, I imagine Lola is kind of at the corner of the bar, getting another drink that she's definitely not going to throw into a plant, and kind of whispers this into her ear, and Lola kind of reels for a second, and she says, "Okay, yeah," and kind of starts to look like she's hyping herself up.
She will say to her, "Everything is a weapon or a tool in your hands. We want in. They're getting a very important flight. Go one of them. It is good to have allies."
All right, storyteller. So she'll return to her group, and was there one dude there who seemed especially interested in her?
Yes. He is. You would learn that he is a staff sergeant. From Luke Air Force Base. He is a divorcee, and he comes here a lot. And the fact that you are a new face is incredibly interesting to him.
All right. Yeah, she'll tell you what. Before she actually returns to the group, she'll try to meet his eyes from her corner of the bar in order to essentially beckon him over.
You do this.
As he approaches, she puts on that really easy, beautiful smile and just says, "Do you want to get out of here?"
It's an affirmation. You do this. And Lola, what I am interested, the last thing I'll ask you on this regard, in this excursion, what's it like to ghoul for you?
She doesn't know really what she's doing. She follows him to his car and initiates intimacy before pulling her head back and saying, "I could give you something better than sex, if you'll allow me."
There's a bit of a concern from him. Nothing terribly worrisome, but he begins to go off on a tangent about how he could be essentially subject to a urinalysis at any given time. So whatever
Wouldn't worry.
substance.
I wouldn't worry about that. And she bites her lip, her tongue, and starts to kiss him again.
You do this, and you begin the process of ghouling him. And you take the time in these next few days. 3 nights. It's the full bond. And you do this. And we'll gather up the information that culminates from this excursion very soon. But more things happen during this 10-day period. We'll cut very quickly to you, Kaida.
Yes.
Not very long after we last saw you in your endeavors. the prince reached out to you, asking if he could speak with you, and you bid him to come to your domain. And he did. He came to you, and he apologized for his outburst. I'll leave this to you to describe to our viewers how you think it went and what occurred that night.
Ida, at first, it's like a mother scolding a child, but then grants him her forgiveness. She makes it very clear in their conversation that her one and only loyalty is to this city and its survival, and that she will do whatever it takes to ensure that. The underlying promise: she will do what it takes to protect this city, even if it means protecting it from him. She doesn't know if he catches that, but she makes it clear. And I think the rest of their conversation is that of where the city is at right now as far as threats. She explains to him that she has been keeping an eye on the borders as he had bid her when he first came to her. And that what concerns her is that she hasn't seen anyone pass through. So therefore, if there is a Sabbat threat, they are already here. And that she will have to dive further into the city itself to root them out.
And he bid you to go to Mesa, if it pleased you. If your investigation required it, he opened the whole of the city to you, and your coterie. Though he was adamant, I will say, he was sure that due to the increased presence of the Inquisition in Mesa, that there was no one there. This night, Ida, he left you after his apology, after this affirmation, and you are left alone. But this night is the first time you heard the remnants, the pass of blood, the fleeting, dying thoughts of Amira. She called him a liar. Or maybe you did. It's difficult to tell with her vitae still so fresh in your system. And as you are alone, you don't hear her voice, but you find yourself thinking thoughts that aren't quite yours. The bracelet is incredibly important to you. More than usual. The safety of the city is important to you. I'm not entirely sure why. Your oath to your coterie is incredibly important to you. You don't think you'll break it. You don't know if this is a lingering sense of honor and duty from her. It's just you. But she's gone, Kaida. You know that. And it's just you and the Weaver's Needle.
I think in feeling those final essence of Amira dissipate from her blood, Kaida returns to the depths of her cave, of her mountain, her home. And there is a portion of this that is essentially dug out. and has been slowly being worked on this tree. She has used a ritual called Visceral Garden. There's a tree and it's growing there. She feeds it every once in a while her own blood. And then she goes into it, creating this mix of flesh and tree and within the roots. And she incubates there for about 3 nights. And when she comes out, she crawls out almost as if rebirth. She has spent the entire time meditating on the memories that Amira had given her when she took in her soul. She thinks about why Amira called the prince a liar. Maybe I called him a liar. He is lying, but about what? And similar to her coming out of this tree from the bottom of it, essentially, she thinks perhaps there's something, as in all places on this earth, there's something deep, old, ancient that lies within the land, and she is determined to reattach herself to it.
You take the time. This land is... it's... the desert is stone, ground rock. A hard land. Hard people. To pry information, to pry these feelings out of it will take some time. Things happen during this 10-day period. We'll revisit with Remy and what happens to him during this time we have him. The last thing to touch on is this meeting with the Primogen. Lola. Briefly, what would you like to say to them? What is the meeting about?
Lola wants to get a beat on if any of them have any inclination on these fires, if they're connected. If any of them don't know about Studio 145, she'll freely give the information she gave the prince, that she's suspicious it may have been someone with access to dementation, and that she's been tasked to investigate that specifically, but she needs to know if there's any other connections that she may be missing. If any of them were to question, well, we did this, why are we doing this again? You weren't even there the first time. She'll simply say, no one called me.
Silences the room a bit. No one questions again why they're having this meeting. What you gather from this meeting is that they're putting their tendrils out. They're grasping for information. The fires in Mesa, they are concerned with, stating that it could be an increase Second Inquisition presence. So they're reaching out to the people that they know can offer information about the forward operating bases of the Inquisition. Till then, they are avoiding Mesa. They are advising that their clans, their respective clans, move operations outside of that city. They are essentially going on lockdown again. An exodus from areas where they know the Inquisition lies. They don't have information on what could have started the fire in Studio 145. It seems different than everything else.
She'll essentially acquiesce to the lockdown and tell, and she'll make sure to inform Jonas the same thing. To stay out of Mesa. And would it be possible for me to roll insight just in a general sense for if the prince were to be brought up? If they were to say, well, Prince Montalvo said this, or...
What's an insight, please?
Yes, okay, and I would like to rouse the blood.
By all means.
Rerolled willpower, got a crit off of it, 7 on a crit.
Clara, the Nosferatu Primogen, seems to be your biggest adversary in this. Keen to follow what the prince says, and keen to acquiesce to his demands. If he says there's nothing in Mesa, then there's no reason to put an investigation there. As far as the Studio 145, that seems like a Remy problem. It doesn't understand why they're putting so much out for a kindred that has done nothing for this city since they've been here. Now, Clara, as a note, as you would know, is newer than you, if I remember correctly. Came here during Prince Montalvo's takeover, or directly after the takeover, and was under the support of Che, granted haven here, and eventually became the Nosferatu Primogen. Interestingly enough, Renee is your biggest supporter. The Primogen of the Venture Primogen that was named the same night you were, officially. And they explained that they are advising all of their clan to move out of Mesa, but it is interesting that these fires occurred in an isolated area in one city, and then one stray fire took place in Phoenix. And perhaps it may have been a testing ground for the Second Inquisition, or something more. And as they talk, Lola, with your wits and insight roll, they know more than they're letting on. And they seem to be trying to focus the attention more on Mesa than the fire in Studio 145, as if trying to keep the details quiet.
Lola doesn't press for further information. She essentially keeps her cards very close to her chest, and she said her piece. She listened to the discussions and nodded along. And by the end of it said, okay, I'll inform the city's Malkavians to stay out of Mesa and continue my investigation.
You do this. Jonas, when you tell him to stay out of Mesa, when you reach out to the Malkavians of the city, when you reach out to Jonas, he kind of nods and says, yeah, no, of course. I mean, it makes sense. She's not even there anymore, so it makes sense.
Lola, in this conversation, does something uncharacteristic. She inquires on his gifts. She says, have you seen anything, Jonas?
Yeah, I see a lot. It's all a tangle, but she helped me when I was too tangled. She's gone now, so it's difficult to find my way out of it. But I see quite a bit. I see still hear the voice. So She still helps when she can. She's busy.
Busy with what?
Mesa, mainly. There's it's too much, so she's trying to keep all of them out. She misses a few, but I understand it's just one person, and none of us, we're all tied up, so I can't fault her for it. It's just still sad to hear about.
Storyteller, if this is Lydia he's talking about? Did I know that?
It's the
That's my guess. Okay.
It's a solid theory.
Solid theory. Got it. Okay. That's because I don't know where I heard that. Sorry. Solid theory. Understood. Who is she, Jonas?
You know. She started talking to you too. She's coming back soon. It's just there needs to be a change first, so. And I think she's waiting to see if they return, so. But he almost got her out, because of you.
What did I
But
do?
she was too smart for that, so. You didn't do anything. It was my fault. I thought I saw something, and I thought that it meant that's how it had to be, but I was wrong. She almost came out to make sure you were okay, but you're okay, and you're where you need to be, I think. I think that part was right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for acquiescing, and thank you for the conversation, Jonas.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad that I'm glad you're okay.
Me too.
Do you did she talk to you about me?
Not since I saw her last.
Okay.
And she'll give him a kind of a place her hand on his shoulder and give it a small squeeze before departing.
You touch him.
Yes.
And I would like... I don't need anything from you, actually. You feel... This just happens. A flash. Him apologizing. It's like you're watching things that happened already. And you can hear him in his head, like he's his own thoughts. They're jumbled and tangled like a cobweb, and he speaks and says, tangled, tangled, tangled. On the board. Who is the prince? Who is the king? Who is the queen? The knight, the bishops, the pawns. All of us pawns. No, not her. She is not a pawn. She's... He doesn't know it. He moves her like a pawn, but he's wrong. And can't take the queen. Can't take the queen. Sacrifice the bishop. Take the queen. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I thought she was meant to be court. Can't take the queen. Can't take the queen. And you see a chessboard. All of the kindred acting as pieces. And you see yourself standing on a black square across the board from you. You see Lydia, hidden behind pawns. You turn around, you look her across this board, you see the faces, you see Nathaniel, you see Danielle, you see Jonas, you see Remy and Kaida and Friday, all of the Camarilla court. And there you see him, close to you, having urged you forward, withdrawing his hand now, urging you on to this black square. You see the prince. He's not looking at you. He's looking across the board, looking at Lydia, waiting for her to come to you. And that is where we're going to take our break. When we return, we'll see where we are in these modern nights. We've caught up with our timeline. We'll see you all very shortly.
When I first came to this country, I had nothing.
Have you come to kill me?
I am simply descended from survivors, and I always survive.
Life doesn't stop when you die.
My blood is not welcome in Camarilla cities.
Did you love your mother?
Dearly.
I did too. I'm not a fan of father.
Crying takes more breath. I've learned that the hard way.
Fuck, Roman. Fuck.
Everyone has a voice in my Phoenix. Hello and welcome back. We hope you had a good break. We hope you had some water, got some food, did what you need to do. I am a liar. I have one last thing I want to touch on with this 10-day time skip real quick that I had neglected to touch on. So we're going to turn it real quick over to Kaida. Kaida, you had one more other thing you wanted to do. You got everyone gifts.
I did. One of these gifts we will not be able to touch on until our lovely Remy returns. But one night during this 10-night excursion, Friday will return to her home at the Renaissance, and she will find in her princess room a statue. This statue is made of metal and bone, specifically the bones of a mountain lion. It is a gargoyle in a way, without the traditional imagery of a gargoyle. It is a mountain lion, which is sacred animal to the Dene, with eyes that can see hidden evils. Lions are also sacred animals to Lilith. Within the eyes of this lion are fire opals. Many ancient cultures believe that fire opals are talismans of protection from danger. Next to the statue is a black envelope with an orange seal, the image of the Samitsi dragon on it. And atop the envelope will be a singular angel's trumpet flower. In various cultures, this flower represents the connection and bridge to commune with higher consciousness and the divine. Amongst these cultures, they use this flower in shamanic practices to allow them to communicate with ancestral spirits. And on the note that is within this envelope, it reads, "They tried to erase you, who you are, but you are of this land. It is in your blood, and they do not know who walks with you." On the 5th night, Lola will find in the bakery, sort of on the counter, a black box, and within that black box is a necklace. It's an intricate, large choker, essentially a thing that starts here and would sort of go onto the chest. And the intricacies of it is metal in the form of moonflowers and black roses. The moonflowers represent transformation, femininity, beauty, and mystery, but dually it represents that Malkavians are of the clan of the moon. The black roses are sacred flowers to Lilith. Both flowers intertwined together. All along the petals of these metal flowers are small gems of onyx, which represent strength and protection, garnet, which means courage, passion, and vitality, and red jasper, which is known to be a stone of endurance. There is smoky quartz, which is grounding, and it is emotional resilience. The chaining of this necklace looks like it's thorned, and a note on a black card reads, "Your fire is not for them, it is yours. They see you simply as a pretty flower, but you have always been more. Choke them with your vines, score their flesh with your thorns, and bloom in their blood."
And these gifts you receive. This period of time, Lola, as well, you find yourself with a gift of your own that you grab for yourself. Staff Sergeant Baker is now fully ghouled to you and gives you information on these things that come into the Air Force Base. There's not a lot you can make from it. You gather things up. Nathaniel seems eager. Julian seems pleased. You work alongside these two for this 10-day period. There is something else coming in. It's a short flight. It comes in that expected flight comes in the next couple days and delivers a box, a shared pairing to the one that Nathaniel was looking for. Something that Montalvo was interested in. A twin. These packages are held in the same location. Staff Sergeant Baker doesn't have the clearance to get within the warehouse. He's pulled favors. He can try, but what he does know is that they're being delivered elsewhere. They're not going to remain on the Air Force Base. Paperwork is still processing on when they will be, but they're leaving the comfort of military security. And they'll be on the roads in Phoenix very soon. He'll let you know as soon as he does what day. You've worked with Nathaniel. You've worked with Julian. And tonight, you receive a text message. A location. Longitude and latitude, just like the previous. Google Maps reveals the location to you. The second message comes in. Bring your friends.
Lola will, seeing that, did she receive this message like early in the evening, essentially?
Indeed.
So she has time to get ready. Perfect. So Lola will take time to go to the gym, shower, go back to the bakery, to her haven, put on makeup, put on a nice dress, put on the necklace that Kaida had given her, and will text Kaida and Friday. Well, she'll send out a message to the group chat. Hopefully Remy can join. If not, I'm sure we'll see him when he's ready to be seen. But say, meet me at the bakery. There's lots to talk about.
And the two of you may make your way. Now, of course, there's your morning routines to go through. And Friday, I'll ask if there's anything different that you might go through before heading out.
Friday gets this girls' night tack. She'll explain it to Pattermuster as much. Gonna have girls' night with the Coterie. It'll be fine. If you need absolutely anything, you can go up to my room. Don't open the door. Just say that a very important executive is ordering in service. And if a maid comes in to do a midnight cleaning, there's a panel on the 5th wall you can open up and crawl into.
I appreciate it. I'll likely just be busy. I'm still trying to gather up everything I've lost. I've got, thankfully, public records can keep a lot of what I've lost, but we just still need to gather it up.
Well, you've got me to help you, and Remy, and the rest of my coterie. Just lay low for a bit. I'll be back before dawn.
Just be safe out there.
Wouldn't dream of doing otherwise.
And you leave him. And Kaida, your morning routine, I imagine, is unchanged. However, something has changed, and we've witnessed it as viewers. I'd like you to take a moment to acknowledge and to explain the change in your makeup.
Ida goes about her morning routine, receives this text, gives the affirmative. She is on her way. She puts on clothing that, while she normally wears rather form-fitting clothing, she's wearing pants rather than a dress. Something that offers her just a little bit more range of motion. Normally she wears red makeup beneath her eyes and a band representative of her tribe, of her home, of her people. And the makeup she puts on now, she has spent time to crush up the seeds and roots necessary, because these are the markings of a warrior, worn when there is a call to action. And she smears it on her face, on her eyes, dotting across, indicating her tribe, singular line down her throat. She doesn't need to look in a mirror to know that it is right. These are practiced movements. This is a practice thing because her people, while they are loving and passionate and kind, a fire in which you can warm yourself beside, they are fighters, and they fight for what is theirs. And then she leaves to the baker.
You all convene there. Arriving one by one, Kaida, you will be the last to arrive. Eventually you all gather. Now, Lola, I have to ask, of course, is Danny dismissed for the evening?
Yep. I got it from here. Go have fun.
You do this, it's beginning to become a habit, and she's starting to worry a bit. She doesn't push hard. Eventually you all gather, and I will turn the scene over to the three of you.
When they arrive, Lola is leaned over the counter, just on her phone. When Friday comes in, does Friday enter? Oh, she's wearing like all her sweaters.
All her sweaters, all her jackets, her little mask.
Perfect. When Friday comes in, she'll look up from her phone and smile and say, "Hey, good to see you."
Good to see you too. I'm sorry about the other week where I just reminded me back what happened in Mexico.
No, I get it. You're fine. And she'll walk over and she'll turn the open sign off. And she'll essentially just check in with Friday while we wait for Kaida.
So, Paternoster's been a pretty good house guest so far. Hasn't been too demanding, hasn't eaten any of the wait staff. I can appreciate that, but I just keep worrying that the prince is gonna inspect me somehow and do a sweep and find him under the floorboards, and I wish all of this was over.
I don't think the prince would show his hand that carelessly. So close to the fire. I think you're okay for now.
We can hope. At the very least, Kaida would have something planned if the prince were to show his hand that quickly.
Yes, that is part of why I called you both here tonight. I'll explain more when Kaida gets here, but I've been a busy bee these last 10 days.
Friday's just going to raise her eyebrow.
Does this problem start with an N and rhyme with Thamiel?
Yeah, he's a big part of it.
I do hate to ask this, but I am going to have to charge a fee.
It's gonna be, and she's gonna go behind the counter, pick up a few pastries.
It's going to be a few. Are these Long Johns?
Takes a bite.
Oh yeah.
And Lola just chuckles and lets her have her feast.
Kaida, you were
Kaida-
right.
Yeah, Kaida will enter, shutting the door behind her, and then walking into the room and sort of extends her arms and says, "My girls, how are you?"
In between
Hey,
bites of
Kaida.
pastry, Friday'll excitedly wave, scramble her own feet, give you a big squeeze.
Perfect. I haven't received anything from Remy. I don't imagine he'll show, but we can fill him in when he's available.
He has his
Yes.
own fires to put out.
Yeah, no kidding. So, and Lola will lean against the counter in front of it and just kind of be like, where to begin? And she'll essentially, without, taking up too much time, she will rehash the what happened at the storage unit. She will say that Nathaniel is tried to win her over, but she figured that I could just use him and his friends, get more information on what's going on in the city.
Kaida gives her just a proud smile when she says this.
And then she'll go into what happened at the club, and she'll say, I got my first ghoul, which is not something I ever thought I'd say. But he presented a lot of very useful information. There's a package coming in that both Nathaniel and Montalvo are interested in.
Prince came to see me. And Kaida will divulge what happened there, that he apologized to her. and really how as she's speaking, you can tell she's like, that's strange behavior, not just from a prince, but from a Samitsi. It's very rare that they apologize for anything. And she says, I do wonder if perhaps he thinks it is better to have me as a friend than an enemy.
Or he's trying to get you off your feet, thinking that, oh, everything's fine, it's just this, that. And then he'll, I don't know, set the fucking SI on you, apparently, since that's now his modus operandi.
There's a deadly look that crosses Kaida's face that Friday would be familiar with at this point, and she just says, I would love to see him try.
At least we're building a case against him, and, well, whatever Nathaniel has planned. I trust you with it, Lola, but can't see him exactly weighing or betting anything on Nathaniel, aside from his, usual batshit tactics.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got a text tonight. I got a text earlier with the new location. I think they're ready to show us the real operation that they have going on.
How fascinating.
Maybe their friend with the book will show up.
Let's hope so. Lola, know that I ask this with all the love in my heart. Nathaniel, he is a problem. But when the time comes, is he a problem you are ready to deal with?
Yeah, of course. I listen, that last big conversation we had really set me on edge, so I really don't want to be dealing with him for much longer than I have to. But I figure the enemy of my enemy, right?
Right. So, when we go, are you going with the presence of one who is willing to receive his affections, or not?
Probably not. She stops herself and kind of just scoffs. There's no reason to dig up old graves. So, he said that my coterie could come, so I figure we go see what's going on with them, and maybe we can figure out what's going on with this package.
Girls' night it is then.
This night it is.
And I'll grab my keys.
Yes, Kaida, there is a moment when we're all sort of exiting where it is the only acknowledgement that she gives that you're wearing her gift, but her fingers sort of just brush over your skin where the choker isn't, and there's just a little smirk on her face, and then we'll proceed to the car.
He'll return this with a very genuine, grateful smile before hopping in the driver's seat.
You know what comes next.
Hero.
Text and drive, please.
Okay.
What's our girls' night radio look like? What are we playing?
Kaida
my
is in the
God.
back seat, so whatever's happening on the radio is up to Friday and
You know what?
and Lola.
Dealer's choice for the passenger. For Friday. What's Friday going to put on?
Oh my god. I think she turns on the radio. It's your generic pop 40s. Immediately reminded of the night with Amira. Takes her phone. Might be the last time she's using this one. Plugs it in. And the hits of ABBA start playing. I think we start out with Super Trooper.
Okay.
Oh, I was needed 3 successes. I had the willpower to make sure we don't die.
3 successes. It's a rough night getting out of Phoenix tonight. It's once again, people are driving and moving through lanes with no blinker. Lola, there's this stop and go that you know the traffic that suddenly hits where no one has any foresight and everyone has to kind of hit their brakes a little harder than they expected. And then you get to a point after this sort of slowdown, and there's no reason it should have happened. There's no accident. There's nothing on the road. There's no cop pulling anybody over. It's just a slowdown because someone was getting off on an exit and finally stopped slowing down a whole lane. It's a rough night, and you have some narrow issues where someone pulls in and cuts you off, or as you're transitioning over to another lane, someone in your blind spot moves close and almost hits you. It's a rough night getting out of Phoenix. You narrowly escape a lot of accidents here.
Not my fault, I promise. It's all the lifted trucks. A lot of cursing in Spanish.
Given that it's near the end of October, approaching Halloween, the snowbirds are coming, and it's crowded. But you arrive, and what you all know, making your way here, the location after plugging it into Google and Google Maps, Lola, it's a location that is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. The area that he has given you, in terms of longitude and latitude and the coordinates, is the old location of the Phoenix Trotting Park. This was a horse racing track built in 1964 in Goodyear. It opened in 1965, ran for about 2.5 seasons, and then was promptly shut down due to some issues with, the heat and the horses. But it was once a futuristic-looking building and was going to be a shining crown jewel of Phoenix, is now gone, torn down. What remains is bits of rubble, stacks of destroyed concrete. And as you drive, you reach a point where there's a rusted chain and a sort of swing gate open, and you drive up, and there is Julian sitting on the gate, texting, the crop top exposing his midriff. He looks up as the lights come up and kind of squints, waves.
Just, roll the window down.
Hey, stranger. You brought friends?
I did.
Hey, guys.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Because you said just Julian is here. Kaida does not deign to look at this person as she's looking around for Nathaniel.
Empty space. You don't even see where, a building to operate out of.
Julian, what is this place? I mean, I know what this place is, but why are we here?
Oh, well, this is the operation. Here, you guys have space, right? I can hop in and give you directions from here. And he opens the swing gate, kind of casting off the rusted chain, and kind of ushers you to drive in so you can close it behind you.
No, we'll do that.
Friday is just 1,000 yards staring at him, not even acknowledging that he said hello. She's just thinking of the things that triggered her paranoia and the call, and where the hell is he hiding?
When she drives through, she just kind of mutters under her breath, "Yeah, invite yourself into my infinity. That's fine. But why would that be a problem?"
When he does enter the car, Kaida has positioned herself so her back is actually against sort of that in-between space of the door and the chair, so that she's fully looking at him.
Excellent.
And just waves with her metal hand.
He gets in the back seat with you, Kaida, and after closing up the gate and says, "Ooh, nice car. I like the upholstery." Yeah, so if you might want to turn your brights on, or not. I'm not gonna tell you to drive, but you drive straight. You follow along. You can kind of follow the if you're close enough, you can kind of follow the tire tracks. But I'll give you directions as we go. There's a little stack of rubble that has hidden a door. They cleared away the top portion. They left the underground. They were gonna fill it in with concrete and sort of make it more palatable, or maybe something else will be built here, but they didn't. Probably because of some handshaking. And you look.
Julian, where's the door?
Yeah, okay, drive forward.
Yeah, and she follows the directions.
Can I sense what clan he is? Or do I already know that? Like, has Lola told me?
Lola, you would have learned about what clan he is. So would you have shared that information?
Yeah, she would have given the lowdown on what to expect from Nathaniel's friend on the drive over. That's my bad that I didn't do that before.
You know that he is Banu Hakim.
I don't know if anyone fucking catches it, but there's a moment where Kaida just licks her teeth.
But he gives you directions as he kind of makes conversation with you, Kaida, and says, "I really like your sleeve you got there."
You mean my arm?
Oh, it's not like a glove? Alright.
Would you like to touch it?
May I?
She extends her hand.
And he kind of touches just your index finger, touches it once, and then kind of takes it in his hand and kind of just plays with the digits for a moment. This is really nice work. Was this your make? Did you, this is a very old blood sorcery.
My sire.
It's really nice work.
There is a moment where she's watching him do this, and there is that, like, phantom sensation, as if she could feel it. There are no nerve endings in this metal arm. And then her fists snap shut, almost closing on his fingers. And there's the sound of, like, metal scraping metal. And then she pulls her arms back.
Very
I'm sure.
nice work.
I'm sure he'd appreciate to hear it.
One day, maybe. Left here. And he kind of goes back to giving directions, making light conversation with everyone in the car, at least trying to, like, he seems to be trying to lighten the mood. It's very strange. He seems very jovial.
There's
He
definitely
is just getting 1,000-yard stared at and stonewalled. Like, so what do you do for fun? It's just Friday. Looking at him, and you hear a foghorn in the distance as she is just looking.
I think over the course of Lola getting to know Julian, there was the rapport that developed between them was Julian would try to be talkative with her, and she would just be like, stop. It's essentially golden retriever black cat energy.
And he has not stopped. But you drive and you make your way past this larger pile of rubble. And there is not necessarily a door, as he described it. There's an opening that leads down, almost like, not exactly a bunker, but like, you can see where this would have entered into like a service area for the track workers and such. He says, yeah, right here. This is the one. Everyone else usually parks off to the side and kind of like tries to hide a little bit, but nothing's fucking out here. No one's comes out here. You don't need to worry about that if you don't want to.
I would incite him, but we're just gonna be... Wait. Be a trick. No, fuck, I'll park right here. It's fine. That is what goes through her head as she puts the car in park.
Closer to the door in case we need to escape.
Yeah, exactly.
You put the car in park, and Julian kind of whips out his phone, starts texting. Not really hiding this from anybody, but you can see he's texting Nathaniel saying, "We're here, coming in now." and he goes down the steps talking to you all about, like, this is a really great hours. I'm really glad we got out of the storage room. We had to clear everything out, so it's still technically there if you need to go use it if we're left anything behind. But we did kind of clear the monitors and everything out. He opens the door, explaining still. This is a really nice setup, though. Nathaniel really kind of went all out. Well, I can't say just Nathaniel. Everyone else kind of contributed as well. I didn't really have much to bring. You know, just I kind of bring what I know. So I enjoy the things that they brought. It was really nice to have all the computers. Everything's up to date. He walks
Who
you
else
down.
came here?
I think
Tonight?
Friday speaks for the first time tonight.
Tonight? I think we got a full house tonight. I think we might be a couple missing a couple people, but really the big players are here, I think. So everybody, you want? Are you trying? Like, do you want to not be shocked? I feel like you're gonna be a little put off. You want me to list off names?
1,000-yard staring.
Or do you want to be surprised? I think it's better if you're be surprised. I think they'll feel more comfortable if you're not. If you're really surprised, you know what I mean?
Is he in front of us? He's
he's
leading?
walking, leading, texting, doing 3 things at once. Yeah.
We're gonna pull out her phone and in the group chat say, let's all remember who the faces and names of who's in here, essentially.
There is just a quick look, a nod, and there is this moment where, because he's fucking walking and talking not a care in the world. He's a little too confident for Kaida's liking, and it is a flash of a moment. You see the beauty erase from her face, and she looks like a monster, and her mouth opens up, and you see the rows of shark-like teeth, and she literally looks like she's about to launch and bite into him, and then it recedes, and she's back to looking like Kaida. It is her only sign of I will fucking end him if anything happens.
It leads you down a hallway. At the end of the hall, there is, you see there's graffiti along the walls. There's things like that. There's markings. There's scratch marks. Nothing terribly terrifying or anything like that. This looks like just people, kids, teenagers coming out and tagging what their areas are. There is a door that is heavily graffitied. One thing kind of stands out, specifically for you, Lola. Everything else, for the rest of you, it doesn't really pop amidst all the graffiti. But along the bottom left corner of the door, there is the outline of a karambit, which is a knife, a curved blade with a circular hole at the bottom of the hilt, or what would be the pommel. It is a very special knife. It almost glows amidst the graffiti. And he says, "Here we are. Alright, I guess be on your best behavior or don't. We're all kind of friends here. It'll be nice to have more friends."
We're not friends, Julian.
Come on. I'm growing on you.
Let's get this over with.
Yeah, sure, whatever. He opens the door. And inside this space, it is larger, much larger than the storage unit, Lola. The monitors are still kind of haphazard and thrown wherever they can be. Bookcases line the back wall on the left and right as you enter the door. It looks like a proper operating room. There are heavy desks left over from the construction of the Phoenix Trotting Park. They are pulled down here from the private areas. They're pulled down from the betting rinks. You can see 5 different people in here, plus Julian making 6. At one of the desks, you can see Nathaniel leaning close in and scrawling out some things on paper, and kind of leaning in and laughing to a woman. She is taller than you. Hair a little lighter, tied back into a ponytail. She has blue eyes, sun-kissed skin, and along the collarbone, you can see bite marks. Not like kindred bite marks. Hickeys along her left side. And she smiles and chuckles with Nathaniel as they draw some things out, sharing information. You can see another individual tapping away at a laptop, typing things out, changing things on the screen, wearing cargo pants and a black t-shirt. Another is doing the same thing off to the right side, off in the corner, kind of watching the room. As you enter, her eyes kind of sharpen. Her hair is shaved, and she is tattooed heavily from her fingertips up to where her neck meets her jawline. And the final person you see is a familiar face. Watching the screens, turning now to look at you all. Dressed nicely as you had seen them before. You see the Venture Primogen. Renee. The door closes behind you. And Nathaniel looks at the door as it closes, and the smile sort of drops just a little bit. And he stands up, pushing himself away from the desk and this woman. You made it. Hey guys.
He's looking at everybody. He fully makes eye contact with Renee. And then her eyes drift over to this woman at the desk. And then back to Nathaniel. And says, yeah, we came.
This woman at the desk that was writing something down or drawing something out with Nathaniel very clearly kind of gives like a look at you, Lola. Not really bothering to hide her distaste. Renee turns back to the screens for a moment and then looks and says, welcome. Daniel comes over to all of you and says, welcome to the operation. I don't think we've had the pleasure, really. But it's good to see you, Lola. And looks to you, Kaida and Friday. Nathaniel.
Kaida sort of straightens up. And her eyes linger on Renee just a moment. Then on this person that's in the opposite corner. Then on the woman, having sort of seen that little interaction. Now her eyes slide to Nathaniel, and she extends her metal hand. Kaida, it is a pleasure to meet you, Nathaniel.
He takes it, and he is soft with your fingers, Kaida. He says, I've heard, I wish I could say a lot about you guys, but, you know, Lola doesn't really talk a whole lot about her private life.
Not to those unworthy.
Guess I deserve that. Seems like she's talked about me a little bit. I don't think we've met either. I'm Nate. I'll see you Friday.
Taking a moment just to blink, snap out of the Kill Bill sirens that are playing when she sees goddamn Renee there.
No, we have. But I think the donut shop, it was a bakery. It was hot minute. Sorry. Is it hot here? It feels kind of warm.
Yeah, the computers can kind of give off a little heat. It doesn't really bother anybody here because it doesn't get hot enough, if you know what I mean. But Yeah, if you're uncomfortable, we have there's a fan. He points to this box fan that's plugged in, sitting on a steel chair, kind of blowing light air, circulating the air around this place.
No, I appreciate it. So it just reminded me I was living in between insulation and walls for a bit.
Hey, sad to say I've been there. Well, let me introduce you to everybody. He kind of whistles and kind of looks, and no one really rises or gets up from their chair or anything like that. But he says, "Everybody, this is Lola. This is the woman I told you guys about. These are her friends, Kaida, Friday. They'll be helping with our next moves. Everyone, put on your best face. Make a good impression, all right? And there's trepidation amidst this room that you can clearly see. Save for Renee, who seems passive. And Nathaniel kind of turns back to you and says, they're just a little nervous. It's been a while since we've had such a big group jump in all at once. No Remy tonight?
Busy with other things.
Sure.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, I can show you what we're working on now. It's not really pertaining to what's at hand, but it's an item of note that we won't have for long, so we want to make sure we catalog and get copies down. And he walks over to the desk that he was sitting at, toward this woman, and she pushes the rolling chair that she's sitting in away. You can see she's wearing these tight cloth pants and this loose fitting black blouse. And he takes a moment to introduce us as Lola, Bianca, Bianca, everybody, Bianca. And she says, hi.
Resist the
Getting
urge
away.
to immediately punch her in the face. Kaida is a protective mother. She simply nods to Bianca in sort of acknowledgement.
Lola does the same. I know we just had this conversation over the break, storyteller, and I'm so sorry. But like I said, my new desire is far less important than my previous one. This fulfills tonight's desire. Learning about Nathaniel's new...
What is the exact
Person.
verbiage of your new desire?
Well, learn who Nate's girlfriend is. GF. Learn who Nate's GF is.
Okay. I'll allow it.
So, that gives my willpower back from driving. Yeah, Lola nods to Bianca. She doesn't give her own look of disdain. She looks very stoic.
I have a question for you, storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a good look at all the people in the room. Are they armed?
Some of them. The woman with the tattoos, kind of sitting cross-legged on a table, typing away at a laptop. She has several knives strapped to her thighs and a handgun strapped to the sort of apex carrying on her back. You can see Nate is unarmed. Renee has a dagger strapped to their hip. And the other person tapping with the computer has a gun that's not on their person, but kind of off to the side within arm's reach. Just a handgun.
Okay. And Julian is still in the room.
Yes, and he has now kind of done his part of as of hosting and has kind of just sat in a corner texting. He's taken up a space that holds a very peculiar item, a scrap of book and papers and just all these like notes compiled into what is just like a handwritten tome.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Uh, Amazing. You said there's monitors up. Is it a similar situation of what Lola described before, where they're like cameras out into the city
Yes,
in various
and
places?
following close to Luke Air Force Base and the businesses that that surround it.
Okay. Okay. Well, Kaida at this moment is on her best behavior and simply taking all this information in and looking to let Lola lead in this moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I want to do something kind of dumb, but I don't think I'm going to. Not yet. Because I have the variant bane. So Lola just looks around and says in the most neutral tone so as to not suggest anything. There's no hint of, at least she thinks, there's no hint of sarcasm or negativity. She says, "Is this everybody?"
Nate starts to speak up, and then Bianca cuts him off and says, "There's some folks that are absent tonight. You know, we can't all just hang out in our bakery." And Nate kind of gives kind of like a look to her and just kind of shakes his head and just mouths at you like, "Sorry." And he speaks up and says, "There are a few of us that are out and about tonight, just gathering some information. But no, this is the core of us. There's a couple of us that are out and about. And then, of course, there's everybody that everyone has been able to ghoul and things like that. This is a little bit bigger than this room. But this is the core."
She's gonna actually, yeah, I'm gonna do the thing. She bristles at that comment, and kind of like halfway ignoring him. I'm just gonna I'm gonna activate Sense the Unseen to make sure there's no wards or obfuscation in here.
You can see in this room, using Sense the Unseen, just kind of scanning the room, there's no one obfuscated, as well as like wards and things like that. The only things that are warded is Julian. His clothing is warded. You're not entirely sure against what. As well, using Sense the Unseen, there is a faint sort of distortion. Not exactly a glow, but like the heat waves off of a hot pavement coming off of the dagger that is on Renee's hip.
Okay. Now, the reason I said it was kind of dumb was because my variant bane, the relevant line of text here is other vampires subject to use of disciplines recognize Malkavian but suffer no penalty. So they don't get the fear from me using disciplines, but they can clock that something about me is eerie.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily bother Nate. Everyone else is doing their own thing as well. I think Friday, Kaida, you would notice this as well. This is a side of Lola you haven't seen before. Normally Lola is very, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of soft, kind of like taken into, like, I mean, Kaida describes it best. Kaida's very motherly and wants to keep Lola protected, and there's both of you have been in the role of protector for Lola. Lola in this moment looks right now as if she never needed protecting. Lola in this moment right now looks like she's very dangerous.
Ada smiles.
Bianca, however, has never experienced this with you. And kind of very openly just says, "Yeah, your ex is creepy. So I'm gonna go see if I can help Renee with anything. And she gets up and moves past you, Lola, and doesn't brush past you. There's no like bump or anything like that. But as she passes you, you can feel this sort of like this stain, this filth move past you. And Nate kind of pinches the bridge of his nose and says, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No,
Lola opened her mouth to say whatever, but actually kind of chuckles at Kaida's comment.
no,
Freddy wants to melt into the earth so badly right now.
I really am. I don't know what her deal is. That's my bad, I guess. I don't know.
I don't care. I don't care. Why are we here? Why'd you call me here?
This is the operation. This is where we're getting everything secure. With what you found out about this other box, we're digging into it, and we're hoping that your contact can give us a little more, so we can know when to make our move.
Yes, Sergeant Baker has been very, very loose with his information, so hopefully he'll come up with something very soon. I'm meeting him tomorrow night, actually.
Oh. All right. Cool. As for tonight, we just wanted to get you in on the situation, you know? Let you know that you're trusted and that you're welcome here. That's all. And I mean, invite you to look at everything else, see if maybe there's some dots that need connecting. We have some stuff we found in Mesa. He kind of points to the book that Julian's pulling over. And then we have some stuff we've pulled from accounts and everything. He points to the gentleman that's tapping away at a laptop with a gun nearby him. Just, we wanted to give you access, and that's all.
Right. Well, I didn't expect to see my fellow Primogen here. And her eyes will flick over to Renee.
You can feel free to talk to them if you want to. They've been very helpful since they arrived in the city.
I intend to, so you should probably let Bianca know so she doesn't catch cooties from me.
You guys... Yeah, I'll let her know. And
Thanks.
he walks away, going over to Renee and Bianca, leaving you, the trio of you, kind of alone to have a brief conversation in this new space.
Lola, I've never doubted your judgment. I still don't doubt it, but we can leave. I can throw up on the floor. I mean it. I had at least 3 eclairs before we left. I can make a mess. We can leave right now.
It's okay, Friday. We should wait first. I need to speak with Renee. See what they know. And we'll see. We'll just get a feel. Fine.
Hold your head up high.
Trying to.
She is not as good as you.
She's been flippant since she arrived. It's Renee's voice that cuts through your conversation. It's one thing that we can't agree with, Miss Kaida.
It is interesting to see you here, Renee. But I am glad for it.
I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one within the Princess Court that has some sense.
Yeah.
Friday. They kind of nod at you.
Is he walking?
So,
There's-
what's what's got you here with the other side of the court?
Well, I'm sure that Nathaniel has given you information about this box.
Mhm.
I offered my expertise, I offered my resources in exchange for what's inside, depending on what's inside. We have varying theories on what it might be, but if my hunch is correct, then I claim it for my sponsor.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I think it's a very powerful bargaining chip.
Mm.
Gotcha.
It wouldn't so happen to be a book, would it?
No. No. The only book that is around here that's been of interest is that one there. Found in Mesa. Scraps of the Book of Nod. Drivel, if you ask me. Mindless nonsense.
In Mesa, where the fire was.
Just that.
Fascinating.
Seems that at the last council meeting, you knew something about the fire in Mesa. I think we're in a safe space to share.
I'm not an idiot. I know that Nathaniel started the fire. No matter how much he wants to say he didn't, no matter how much bullshit he wants to put forward. I know what he did and why he did it. It's not fitting of a leader, but who am I to judge? I'm only here temporarily. It wouldn't do well to have him drawing attention to us, so I've redirected his attention as best as I can. Forgive me for not sharing, but I needed to know if I could trust you first.
So Lola says, "Yeah, yes, I've known. I just figuring out what to do about that for our dear prince. But what about the fire in Mesa? Do you know anything else about that?"
Second Inquisition. No doubt in my mind. The prince is killing us. He's killing all of you.
Really thought we wouldn't know. I spilled out my whole heart to him. I've been in Inquisition custody. He really thought. It's arrogance.
He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. One that Phoenix has to deal with.
Question is, why? What does he gain?
That's what Nathaniel hopes to find out with this box. To get information and then kill him himself. But, again, we have varying theories. Either way, what is correct is we know that he wants what's in these boxes. With a twin now appearing, chances are he's going to make a move soon. Nothing your clan likes more than a matching set. Am I right? Looks to you, Kaida.
He grins. Yes, collectors we are. I am going to look at this book. And she walks over to where Julian is. May I? And she gestures to the book that they've all been talking about.
It's fascinating, really. There's a lot in here. All of it's a little bit of unreliable narrator. There's scraps and accounts from certain stories. It's like it's almost like the Bible, where there's bits and pieces from various prophets. Really interesting. The Sabbat. If you can get past the death cult and zealotry, they're incredible forward thinkers, philosophers even.
Her eyes flick to him for just a moment. Kaida's whole thing is against the Sabbat. Yes. False prophets. She picks up the book and she starts to look through it. What does she see?
Stories, Kaida. How fortuitous that as Julian passes this to you, flipping pages and pointing out unreliable narrators, pointing out the prophets of the Sword of Cain, that it follows the story of Cain and Lilith.
You know, interesting thing. Are you close with your mother?
Not anymore.
Did you have a good relationship with her?
I would say I used to. She's gone now. But yeah, I guess you could say I was a bit of a mama's boy.
Can you imagine what it would have been like to bring in a child cursed by their father, grant them gifts, and be betrayed by them?
Yeah. I can actually. Unfortunately. But I'm not a man of faith, so my interest is in the philosophy at all. Their policies, what they push for is, you have to admit, it's interesting. The faith behind it is what drives them. I'd like to understand them more. And if this is the way to do it. Now, we have to get rid of this soon, unfortunately. But whatever I can translate, whatever I can piece together, we're taking care of it.
Yes. Matters of faith. Their desires. Do you know? The Sabbats, they are not interested with being one with the cattle. They want to be above it. And yet, also want to consume those older and far more powerful than them. Do you imagine why that might be?
I have a few theories. But who doesn't covet power? It's kind of our nature.
No. That is their nature. Conquerors, colonizers, whatever you want to call it. That is what they are. Erasers of culture. That is what they desire.
A different philosophical discussion, I guess.
Perhaps.
We cut over back to Lola and Friday and Renee. Renee looks to the two of you and says, I hope you'll look past the deception and the childish nature of Nathaniel in service of the city. Your city.
I'm very well practiced at that. So, yeah.
You have infinitely more patience than I do. The moment I have confirmed my theories, or when I find what's in the boxes, I'm gone. You can deal with them on your own.
Listen, about the prince, you're not gonna help. I don't imagine you're gonna stick around to help deal with that problem.
That is Phoenix's problem. And I don't tie myself to Phoenix. My calling is something a bit different.
Well, to each their own. At least you're honest.
Renee, if I may. I don't know if the prince was intentionally trying to set us off against each other, if it was some twisted power play. But I've come to care for the city. Kindred in it. And I know you don't intend to stay here for a while, but if you need anywhere to move your operations, your theories, there's always a spot at the Renaissance available for you.
You smile. I appreciate that. I have a feeling, depending on what transpires next, I might need you. Need to request your assistance. I'll even offer you a boon Friday. But temporary lodging might be necessary for an associate of mine, the sponsor of my endeavors.
Holy shit, they're offering, oh my god, a gargoyle's being offered a boon by a fucking Ventru! Oh my...
There's nothing I can roll to guess who that is. I don't have anything in politics.
You can roll, or you can simply inquire.
Yeah, Friday just completely blown away by, I will give you a favor. Just goes,
Who, if I might ask?
They smile. And Friday, once again, you are witness to a genuine smile. It's not soft or loving, or it's not like Jay's. This is reverence. This is the same smile when a zealot talks about their god. His name is Dominic Tulloch, and he is the heir to Mithras. And that is where we'll close tonight's session of Bloom in Blood. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to very quickly go around the room, let everyone know who you are, where they can find you. Let's begin in reverse order. Down to my bottom left, Lola Torres, if you kindly.
Okay. Hi. I'm Luna. Is my mic on? Yeah. I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitch specifically, and Instagram. I stream when I'm not here, playing silly vampires or crash out queens like Lola, who is both. But tonight I've been the silly vampire crash out queen, Lola Torres.
Need that on t-shirt ASAP. That's Rolling Nomads merch right there. I gotta get it. Let's jump over to my top right, Kaida.
Hello everyone. You can find me all over the internet as the Brave. I do TTRPGs here at Rolling Nomads, at Table of Horrors, and at Lanyap Gaming. Check all that shit out. I also have a YouTube channel where I do ASMR styled readings of my favorite books. Go check it out. Things are coming. Yes, but this evening I played Kaida Arden.
Hell yeah.
Not yet a crash out queen. Give it time.
We'll get there. Long enough lifespan, everyone becomes a crash out queen. Moving over to my top left, Friday, if you kindly.
I'm gonna come to your house with a machete and hurt you. But yeah, I'm Abby. I'm your local dinner nerd, and when I'm not key smashing in my vampire notes because of that reveal at the end, all our theories got confirmed. You can find me on channels like Twisted Fates, where I run the amazing, award-nominated Dino Crisis. You can watch me pit some people through Jurassic Terrors. I highly recommend checking out, as well as other projects here on Rolling Nomads. You'll catch my little face around doing things with amazing people. Watch them. Look at their projects. They're really fucking cool. How going they?
Excellent. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully next week we have our Remy, and it'll be a full coterie, and we'll see what Remy's been up to. And yeah, we got there, gang. We went to Goodyear. We know what's going on in Goodyear for the most part.
We're good year.
Crazy shit, dog. Now what the fuck is going on in Mesa? That's gonna be the next question. But I, of course, have been your storyteller for tonight's Chronicle, Gilbert Ramos, aka Ramos the Nomad, on all the social media. And I have nothing further. Thank you so much for being here. We will catch you guys next time. Same place, same kindred. We'll see you then.